the school to be a running back or a tailback or whatever the hell he was, and they paid his way through it. That's a mistake. Learn from it. Okay? It's like I told my kids growing up, hey, there's a guy with a mistake. Learn from it. Don't do it. Okay? Growing up Klein is not pleasant. I assure you. Especially when you bring a boyfriend or girlfriend home. It is not pleasant. Okay? Because I grounded my children. Both of them today have 3 children apiece, and they're great parents, and they take care of their kids, and they love their kids. Go to your parents. Don't have no fear. And I'll give you one other piece of, I give motivational speeches sometimes. Let me give you one other small piece of advice. Don't worry about yesterday. It's in the books. Deal with today. Have a great day today. Look forward to tomorrow. And when you look back on your high school career or your college career or your beginning of your work career, whatever, you'll say to yourself, man, I'm okay. And remember, I'm okay, you're okay, everybody's okay. Yeah, you heard some people yell at me tonight. That's fine. Hey, but it's okay. They're emotional. And you know what I like about it? You know what I like about it? They care. That's called emotion. That's what's great about Canadian Texas. What do you have another question?
So your answer to my first question is no.
That's right. I like that young man. What a great young man. All right, anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
So my name is Shirley Howard, and you talked a little bit about Chris Jones, and we've heard some recordings from Chris Jones. So my question, or as I sit here, what am I thinking about on Chris Jones? And I would be, how did Chris Jones come about to coming to Canadian America? You know, what is the history behind Chris Jones coming here? You know, as far
Very
as
good. I can give it to you. We know it. You want to go? You're Chris Jones's thing. Let me just tell you, the whole story starts off in Childress, Texas. That's where this whole story starts, is in Childress, Texas. Go.
So Chris was a football player from Childress, Texas. Played football there. He moved to Higgins, Texas. But he was in Higgins playing football before he came to Canadian. We actually spoke with his ex-girlfriend, Trace and I did, whenever we were searching in places from Lake Marvin, wrapped around, that ended up back in back in Higgins. And so from there, he was recruited from Higgins to play in Canadian. And according to him, by Nathan.
No facts on that though, right? No facts.
I couldn't hear what he said.
That's from a witness statement that we played earlier. That is what
There's no facts that Canadian paid him to play football for us.
Sir,
We're
we
going
can
with-
only tell you what he said to us.
And one
And we
guy
just
won the
said
game,
earlier
one guy
that
won
we
the
did not
game.
necessarily know if that was what the gospel is, because we've had other tips come in. We have played tips tonight, and we have played recordings tonight based off of who has called us and who has given us information. It's for you to decide, or you to create your own theory from. Back to my question that I was answering.
Again, you form your theory. We've got ours. You form yours. Okay.
So to answer, that's how he ended up in Canadian Texas.
We just gave you the facts. We played the recording. Like I said, he's in prison. I don't know.
Really?
But hold on a minute.
Everybody's word is in prison. That's
He lived with the coach. There are anomalies in the house on the night before Thanksgiving, sir. I don't make that up. This is what witnesses have told us. It's not our fault.
So where does Tom come into that picture?
Tom comes into that picture here. Tom was a football player. Tom left the football team. The big thing is Tom committed suicide because he left the football team and his girlfriend left him. And yes, it is. That's what we're told from the media. They come up with this crazy ass stuff. And we're like, or we don't even look at Facebook anymore. I told them not to even bring it. I don't even want to see it because it's so ridiculous. So what we did was, right, let me tell you. So what we did was, that was part of the spaghetti, okay? That was the mushrooms in the spaghetti. So we have to check it all out. What's true, what's not true. We knew that one of the last people that saw Tom Brown was this young man. Right? Yes, Jones.
So you're saying.
So we go to the Katie house. Oh, where was Chris Jones on this night? He's asleep in bed and he's fine. We walk out of there. A witness tells us, oh, he wasn't here last night. What are you talking about? Then we go.
You saw Tom the next day, correct, on the 24th?
Absolutely, we saw him on the 24th.
And he was alive.
He was alive. Chris was alive. I have to believe what my team tells me. I didn't interview him. I've listened to his interview. I've listened. You're again asking me a theory question. Let me tell you what my theory
I
is.
guess I just thought we were coming tonight, y'all have like a finite.
No,
answer.
we don't have a finite. We're now, here's where we are. We're going to phase 3 of this case. We're presenting this. Penny wanted to present this. I wanted to present this because this girl keeps getting beat up by this community.
Well, she has every right to know what happened to her son, absolutely.
Absolutely.
That's why we're here.
Good.
And I thought that's what we were coming to here tonight.
You did.
Very bored.
You did. You did. You did. You heard everything. You heard about a corrupt sheriff's department that hid evidence, destroyed evidence, and threw this case off. That's why we, Penny, and a few other elected officials urged General Paxton to step in. Now we got them going, oh, Klein's going to give a big announcement. Here's why we're giving you our case file. Because we want you all to think about it, and we want you all to put your arms around this lady and say, guess what? We're going to keep our ears open, we're going to keep our eyes open, and we're going to help. Even you, Mr. Boyd, you have some great points. You had some great points tonight. Wonderful points tonight.
I guess I just want to know, like, why would they be coming after Tom? From everything we've heard about Tom, why were they coming after him? Do you?
You want to know my theory?
Yes.
My theory is Tom just drove into something he just
He
shouldn't
was
have
in the wrong
drove into.
place
He's
at
in
the
the
wrong
wrong place at the wrong time, yes.
That's what I.
He's a star football player. He's got everything going for him. Everything going for him.
But he had already quit the team.
Doesn't matter. Have you ever played football? Ask these guys. Hey, pretend Tom Brown was on your team. You decide, hey, I just don't want to play football anymore. What do y'all do? Do y'all throw him out of your friend group? Or do you see him in the hallway and say, hey, bro, what's going on?
Well, I guess the other question.
Basically,
would be
yes,
this,
'cause my
if
son
we're
quit the
going
football
for
team.
motives
It happened to
or
him.
whatever, are they thinking that Tom quit the team because he was gonna turn them in for their illegal gambling ring? Is that why they
No.
kidnapped him?
No, I just think Tom was at the wrong place at the wrong time. I think the gambling thing he didn't know about. I don't think he cared about. I think Tom was just a pawn.
And I mean, I would assume he would have told y'all.
Sure.
If he thought something like that.
Sure. Tom was, you know, I had a lady one. We took a homicide case out of Houston, Texas, because the homicide division couldn't figure it out. And here comes this guy, walks up to this girl in the parking lot, and pops her in the head with a .357. She's dead. HPD goes, we can't figure this out. We get involved in the case.
So do y'all feel like?
Hold on a minute, let me finish my story. We get involved in the case. Everybody says it was a hit. Oh, this girl was a hit. What was she into? Man, we dove into her past all the way down when she wore diapers. Guess what? This girl didn't have anything to do with anything. We now come to find out, and this was 10 years ago, we found out that this little girl was involved in some illegal gambling ring. And it was, you know, back then it was the Crips and the Bloods, and one of the Crips came up and just shot her. That's what it was about. It wasn't just a random, I'm going to come shoot you. It could happen to anybody at any time, is what I'm saying. You guys live in a great bubble here. Love this bubble. No crime. We all go to eat down at the Bucket or wherever you go to eat. I mean, it's great. The bigger cities are nasty. Well, guess what? Nasty came to Canadian. Charlie, back there.
My name's Leanne Monty, and I am Shannon Castletine's sister, and I am also, that would make me Michael Castletine's aunt, and that would make Jeff Castletine my deceased brother-in-law. They are not here to speak for themselves, so I just want to voice on their behalf I can assure everybody sitting here that Jeff's suicide had nothing whatsoever to do with Tom Brown. I can tell you that. Okay, as family, things that I'm not gonna disclose to the public out of respect and privacy, but I will tell you that that suicide had nothing whatsoever to do with Tom's disappearance or death. Number two, Michael, yes, I believe that he had some trouble in the past, may still have some trouble, who knows? Was he an accomplice? Did he have anything to do with the disappearance, murder, the night of Tom Brown? Absolutely not. I've known him, just like you said, you researched that girl since she was in diapers. I've known him since he was in diapers. His soul would not allow that. Does he like to smoke pot? Did he like to smoke pot? Probably. Did maybe some friends say, hey, can I get a whatever? I'm not negating that. Nor would he, nor would my sister. But I can tell you that from the bottom of my heart, I believe that Michael Castletine had nothing to do. It would make zero sense. He wasn't an athlete. He didn't have a history here. There would be absolutely no reason whatsoever that he would want a friend dead. I am a mother. I have lost a son here in town also. Gregory Pine was the person that responded to the wreck that my son was not in but died from. They botched that to the absolute worst possible problem.
We heard about that. We pulled the file. We
Okay.
saw what happened to your family. We get it.
Well, wonderful. I'm glad you know. I'm just saying that they have a history of this wasn't a first time incident where the law enforcement did not respond and do the right thing. Maybe had they that night, maybe Tom would still be alive because the same person wouldn't be out there.
There you go.
My point is that I just want to say I stand with Penny. Penny's a friend of mine. I love her. I cry with her. I grieve with her. I understand how she feels. And I understand that her mother's heart wants answers. I want answers. This angers me. I don't understand what's happened in this community, but I want answers too. But I don't want the finger pointed at the wrong people just because they were the last person to see Tom. That doesn't make them a suspect. That doesn't make them have anything to do with this. And just one other thing, when you say it was a kid because they urinated. Well, adults pee also.
It's a kid because they made stupid mistakes, but they're getting away with it. And the question is, why are they getting away with it? Why are they being covered? A kid, a person that has killed somebody that's kind of halfway professional, or people that are our age, they take him out. Hold on, let me finish. I'll let you talk. They would take him out in the woods and they dig a hole and they throw them in there. We probably would have never found him. But instead, they drug a body under a tree. Who does that? Kids. I've been investigating homicides for 36 years, ma'am. Let me tell you, it's kids. Kids are stupid. Who throws stuff out of a window? Contrary evidence. Why did they put the backpack up there? Because they were scared. They were scared that the backpack would be found because all the kids kept thinking they're being tracked on the backpacks. Hold on, one more piece. Then I come to the question, ma'am, why would the Sheriff's Department not allow us to run a Homeland Security dog on a backpack? The most decorated dog in the United States, one of the most decorated dogs in the United States. Why'd they tell us no? I don't know. I have no answers for that other than we could have moved this case really down the road. Why have no charges been filed for not calling a DA? Why have no charges been filed for stuff being torn up and thrown in the trash and and evidence being thrown out? That's tampering with a government document.
Yeah.
I mean, how many laws have to be broken before you, the people, Say, that's enough.
Yeah.
We're done with that. And you did. He's gone. Brent claps in. I think Brent's got a good team put together.
Okay, so I agree with you on all of that. I just think though that if somebody, I don't necessarily think that that means it's kids just because somebody peed there, because maybe it was just, they're confident, maybe they've done this sort of thing, maybe they know what I'm saying? I mean, to me, that doesn't mean it was a kid, but I'm not an investigator, I have no experience, and so I'll leave you with that. So, but we do appreciate you coming, we do appreciate all your hard work. I fully believe that we would not be where we are.
Do you
without
believe we're trying to hurt this town?
No.
We're
No.
trying to help.
And I agree with that.
To,
I don't believe
for someone to say, I don't know,
And I'm not mad
stand up
at
and
you.
say,
I'm glad
get
you're
out of
here.
Canadian. What? You want corruption in your town? What?
No, we
You
don't
want to get on the
that.
guys that are trying to figure out what the hell a 18-year-old boy died for? Do you see where I'm going with it? I don't understand it, John. All right, we're gonna take two more. How's that? Okay, there's one right here.
Would Chris Jones have anything to gain by giving you this information, or would he think he did?
Nope. He's in jail for 50 years. He's not getting out till he's 70 years old. He's 35 plus the 10 he got for 35 and 10, so that's 45, and he's already had some problems in jail. So he's not getting out. He's not like he's been sentenced to 10, going to serve 2. That ain't happening. He ain't getting out. And his point is, you know what? I got nothing to lose. I'm going to tell the truth. That's what he's told that lady right there.
Does Chris Jones have anything?
And so
No.
we kind of look at it and go, okay, this is what he said. He said it the same way 5 times. Then we go to some of these young other kids, and they change their story. And it's not just from V to R or R to O or whatever the synonym is. They come up with these crazy stories with, well, I didn't say that. Well, hold on there. We got it on audio. You want to listen to yourself? No, I don't have to listen. Well, all right, slow down. Talk to us. It's not like we're the guys that are going to put you in jail. We're just the guys that want to find out what happened to Tom Brown. Now, if you'd said, hey, Mr. Klein, I killed him. I mean, we got a tip. Day we left, some weirdo that called our office and said, yeah, I just want to let you know I killed Tom Brown. We're like, oh, well, okay, tell us what happened. You don't know what happened. We know what happened. We've traced it all the way from car to tree. We got it. We know. So, directly answer your question. He's in for 50. He ain't coming out. He's going to be 71 years old, 72 years old. I'll be in the ground. The worms will be eating me before he gets out. Charlie, we got one more. I thought I saw over here. Right here, man? Sure, yes, ma'am. Charlie, over here, yes, ma'am. Is there somebody in the back that wants to say something? Okay, we'll do you too. I don't want to leave anybody out. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you kind of already answered the question about were you able to collaborate the story at all, Christopher Jones. But have you spoken to any former students or staff of Higgins ISD about his behavior during this time that
Yes.
could have led to leaving instead?
Yes, we did. We interviewed teachers, we interviewed principals, we interviewed superintendents. The old superintendent, Jay got a hold of this old superintendent. I think he got kicked out, didn't he? The superintendent of the school. Yes.
Yes, I'm asking about Higgins, I'm sorry.
Oh, about Higgins, yes, we did. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes. I just wanted to interject. Jane got kicked out of the old superintendent's office here in town when she started asking questions about associations with UIL football and other stuff, and she was promptly told to leave and not come back on campus. And we were like, what did we say? What did we do? So, Higgins, yes, we did. We did good.
Was there anything that you guys found that could have led to his leaving versus being recruited by Canadian?
He got recruited. He stayed at the coach's house. He had free meals. He got a stipend of money. He had a job. It's just like the old NCAA stuff. You know, you're going to go sweep with a broom on a sidewalk for $1,000 a month. I mean, come on. I mean, it's one of those deals. And I'm not one to judge. I don't know. I went to Texas Tech. We lose football all the time. I don't even turn it on anymore. But now I understand there's a corruption investigation going on at Texas Tech, and trying to recruit kids and pay them and all this other stuff. I don't know. I don't know why that happens. But I do know this, it's illegal. And I do know this, I'm a mandated reporter. And I do know this, I did it as gently as I could to not cause this community any more harm. Now, some of you sit back and say, Mr. Klein, you're just keeping the corruption going. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm trying to do what's best here and keep everybody calm and figure out Tom Brown. Go ahead. Last one. This is the last one.
On the record,
Yeah, come on.
your opinion is, have you cleared Nathan Lewis as a suspect and you're on the record in your investigation?
Oh, have we cleared Nathan Lewis?
Yes, for the record, to help this community, have you cleared Nathan Lewis in your investigation as far as a suspect in his disappearance?
In the homicide, no, we did not. Oh, yes, we did clear him in the homicide. Yes, sorry. Yes, we did clear him in the homicide. We have cleared him in the cover-up. No, we have not. And neither is the OAG, according to what they've told me.
Fair
That's
enough.
it.
Fair enough.
Go ahead. Last one.
Just from like day one, you act like, or you were always talking about you and the AG were close hand in hand, but tonight that's obviously not true anymore. What happened there?
Okay, great question. So they want to know what happened with the OAG. So the OAG, we informed them 4 weeks ago. I want to be kind of accurate here. 3 or 4 weeks ago, that we were going to have a town hall meeting in Canadian, Texas, and that we were going to introduce the evidence we have. I don't know if we've done a good job for you. I think we have. I think we laid it out pretty straight out. Okay? And that we're going to do this. The question to us was, why? Because none of you are doing anything to try to solve this case. They call Penny or they call me and say, would you get with your client? We need the, whatchamadiddle charger. What's it called? Something charger. Penny moves into a new house. Now they're digging through boxes trying to find a cell phone charger. And I'm like, why do you need a cell phone charger? We don't get an answer. Sure, we'll give you a cell phone charger. Would you like some cords to go with it? We'll be glad to give you those. We'll do whatever it takes to help solve this case. Penny, have you heard anything else from the OAG from 6 weeks ago? Not a word. Now, what did they do? The OAG do politically? Okay, there's a hot political race coming up, okay? And you guys vote Republican north of Interstate 20. You guys vote Republican, and he needs your vote because George P. Bush is coming after him. He's got the last name. He's got the gravitas of the Bush family. He's nervous. So what do you say? This is a hot potato. In my opinion, this is a hot potato. I'm going to go kick it down the road. Now, they're going to come out kicking and screaming since I just said that, and I've got representatives of the media from all over the United States here. They're going to come after me, especially one of the greatest writers there is on Texas Monthly. I'm telling you, they're going to come after me now. Watch. Just watch and learn. They already tried it last night. Fine. So we don't know what we're doing with luminol. God, I'm going to go over to Sam Houston University and beat the crap out of that professor. I paid him $5,000 to take the luminol thing back in 2008 and train and learn on luminol. Yes. Okay, well, right. So, here. So, there was, and Chris left because he's mad at me because I won't do his show. I'm just not. Because I'm not the bad guy, and to drape me as the bad guy, I'm not going to do that. The question I think I'm hearing is, we have worked with the OAG very, I'd say, closer than a lot of law enforcement that we work with. Wouldn't you? We share things, we have an open portal that they can just get in and dig through and see all the evidence, listen to the recordings, listen to all the things that we've done. look at our case notes. We have a thing called CAD, C-A-D notes. We get in our computer in our cars and we type up our report immediately. Somebody asked the other day, was it you about the supplemental reports? A supplemental report, you get in your car and you type your supplemental report immediately while you're fresh. Not 18 weeks or 18 months later. What? Who does that? You can't even, let me tell you, 18 months later, I have trouble remembering my grandchildren's names. Right? You with me? So, what I'm trying to tell you and articulate to you is, yes, we had a great relationship with the OAG. That is going to fall apart. It fell apart, I say, Saturday, when we got notice that they were going to put out some kind of statement, and we all died laughing. Why would the government put out a statement the night before we're giving a presentation to the townspeople? They've never done that in the history of General Paxton's tenure in Austin. They think this is going to be a big political thing for them. I don't know. Yes, go.
I have one question. How do we get this to grand jury?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your district attorney. Go walk into the office.
He
Sit
won't
down with
answer
him.
phone calls.
They won't answer phone calls.
They won't, that's right, they're not. Go ahead.
Is there a Larry Cousins in this audience tonight?
He's dead.
He's dead?
For real? If you're talking about Cousin Larry,
No.
No, Larry Cousins. He's a keyboard cowboy on Facebook, and he's on all these things about Canadian and this case especially, and he seems to know a lot of information, or he seems to put it out there. So he says, so we were told by the OAG's office that we were going to have an investigational grand jury, and there are two types, investigational and one's indictment, right? So he said there is no such thing as an investigational grand jury. Phil Klein just made that up. Well, the OAG did tell us we are going to have an investigational grand jury. We're going to call everybody in that are suspects or witnesses, and we're going to interview them under oath to determine if they've ever lied before from their previous statements, and to see if they lie under oath, then they can be charged with aggravated perjury. So he kept getting on Facebook saying there's no such thing as an investigational grand jury. But there is. So the OAG's been telling us all through COVID that COVID's got to shut down. We're not going to have one now. We're going to have it later. We're going to have it in spring. We're going to have it fall. It was just going to push. And then all of a sudden, we're not having one. Why not? No answer. There's no one to indict. What? I thought we were having a great investigational grand jury.
That's what he said, yeah.
You don't, exactly, that was part of the OAG's report. You can't indict someone when there is the possibility of suicide.
Folks, friends, I'm telling you, Tom Brown did not kill himself.
Man, I'm kidding.
Tom Brown did not kill himself. There is no way that a bullet casing ends up in a car, a smashed-in skull, driving a car underneath a tree and going out to 9.8 miles in 4-degree weather. No way, no how, it ain't gonna happen. I'm telling you, and that's their theory. Or, in retrospect, their theory is he killed himself at his house. These people sitting in front of you put him in, and one other one, put him in the back seat of a car, or a car, drove his body out to Lake Marvin Road, and then parked the car underneath the apartments. That's their theory. And the reason they did that after Tom killed himself, the reason he did that is because of his psychological issues. What psychological issues? He's number one in his class. He's class president. Excellent football player. He's got everything going for him. Now, let me answer, I know a question's going to come. Have I ever seen a suicide for a kid that strives for everything? Yes, I have. But it's usually in the Indian community or the Asian community where they have strived all their life and they get second. They don't get valedictorian. What is it, salutatorian? They get salutatorian and they kill themselves. Yeah, I've seen that. And everybody's like, how could that happen? I've seen that. But mechanism doesn't match suicide. Technique does not match suicide. And the most important thing is the timeline. The evidence that we presented to you tonight does not show suicide. Okay. That's it. What? What you got?
One more question.
Have you asked a question? Anybody that hadn't asked a question?
You brought up Ricky Ivy. Why?
What?
You brought up Ricky Ivy as a person.
We did.
Why?
Why did we bring up Ricky Ivy? Because he's a person of interest.
But why?
Because he was in the area at the time.
What area?
Where he lived. Where Tom lived. Yes.
That's it?
All right. Well, there may be a few other things. Some witnesses. Caroline has just told me that she doesn't want to release it, but be sure, as we present it to you tonight, we have evidence. Okay? Go ahead. Hold on.
There are some things that we do have to keep under wraps regarding some of the things that we have spoken about. We literally tried to give y'all every single thing we could. There are some things that have been requested that we not say, and we just have to be, yes. And so for that reason, we can't answer that question in full, but we do have evidence, we do have interviews, and we do have things that put him up in our person of interest.
It's kind of like we put everybody on the board, and we put the anomalies under each of the ones, and then we either prove or disprove those anomalies. That's what we're in the middle of right now. Yes, ma'am. But we've winded it down all the way from, the whole city, 2,500 people, to 4 or 5. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Who raised your hand? Yeah. Oh, I like her. Go ahead.
Okay, if your theory is a kid did it, and that's
Yep.
kind of where you're going. The AG report today, or yesterday that came out, talks a lot about a phone being liked, the iCloud being liked, his Facebook being liked, his Instagram account being liked.
Okay, so let me address that. The Facebook thing, we got a call, I think you called me, did you not? She called me and said, we got a problem. I said, what we got? We got people calling me saying that the ghost of Tom Brown, or Tom Brown's duty, or whatever, is being posted all over the internet, and there was a person that hacked his Facebook. She asked me, what do we do? Oh my God, this is my son. She starts crying. I'm like, okay, calm down. What are they saying? Let me get on my computer, get on our Facebook page, get on it, look at it. Sure enough, this guy's being really nasty. We can report it to Facebook. It'll take 24 hours, it'll come down, but then he'll just come in with another screen name, right? So I said, look, have we downloaded everything from Tom's Facebook page? Yeah. Have the police looked at Tom's Facebook page? Yeah. I said, put it in suspension. Everybody knows what Facebook suspension is? There's a little dot, you just click it, and poof, it goes off Facebook. You can hold it forever. Once we click that, okay, it went into suspension. Facebook came in when they came in with version 16.5. It didn't match that old version, so it wiped it out itself. Boom, we lost it. It's okay, because it was just, he didn't use Facebook that much. He used Instagram. I'm sorry? Okay, the iCloud, that's very good. Tucker, stand up. Tucker, did you share your iCloud with your brother?
We shared the same account.
Shared the same account. Okay? When Tom died, they got into the iCloud, and in fact, if you look at that OAG thing, they went, thanks, Tucker. If you see that OAG thing, what they did was they had a search warrant, and they went after it. And you know what it said in the search warrant? That they wanted to file charges on her for tampering with government documents, tampering with evidence in a homicide. Wait. We thought it was a suicide. No, now they're calling it homicide. Do you see where we're going with this? What, so they erased it. Was there anything in there? I think there was not. I think in the OAG report they said there was 0. Well, maybe 1 or 2 things from Tom, but everything else was his. And they reviewed it, and there was nothing there. Nothing circumstance. So he goes to a new company, gets a new iCloud, does a new thing. There you go. Does that answer your question? There's nothing nefarious there. Nothing. affairs. That's part of that Facebook BS.
And I wanna say something about search warrants.
When you get a search warrant for something, you have to fill out an affidavit, a probable cause affidavit to the company. And there's a lot of things in search warrants that makes, when you first read it, it makes you believe, oh my gosh, they think